Today is our fourth gathering today? More than that, is it? How many do you remember? How many? 6, is it? 6, 5 or 6? Number 5, Okay, good. So that means you have kept up regularly, study the sutta. This is your, every time we do something like this, we are creating good karma. Sometimes we say, how come I'm not wise? Because in the past life we didn't prepare ourselves, but right now we are preparing. You may say, sutta difficult. Well, you got to start somewhere, there's a story about this Kung Fu master asked a student to strengthen himself by using his hammer to break a big rock, So you got the tough guy, very big size tough guy, take this hammer, very heavy hammer, and start knocking, hammering 99 times. The rock won't break, he gave up. Then the teacher said, okay, next. The skinny young man could hardly lift the hammer. He carried the hammer, very heavy, and then let the hammer go by its own weight. It's too heavy. The hammer goes, tung, the rock split. That's the 100th time. So the story here is, the Buddha always reminds us, never look down on yourself. There's one sutta called the Asangsa Sutta, which I'm translating right now. Asangsa means hopeful. In Pali is asa. Malay also asa means hope. So Buddha said 3 kinds of people. Number 1 is hopeless. Number 2 is hopeful. Number 3 is hope-free. No need to hope anymore. Successful already. The hopeless person is born poor, ugly, not healthy, and then he hears, somebody is becoming a king. So you never think about yourself. You never think, I also want to become king, because he's so, we call it underclass. The second one is the king's son, the crown prince, the eldest son of the king. So one day he hears somebody is becoming a king, being crowned. So he says, that's wonderful. One day I also want to become king. And he can, because he's the crown prince. That's called a hopeful person. The third one is the king himself. The king himself hears, somebody is becoming a king. Well, in India, the Kshatriyas, the Sakyas, there are many kings. So he hears somebody is being consecrated as a king. He don't think about it, he can't be bothered, because he's already king. You see? Then, this is a story Buddha gave. Then the Buddha said, there are 3 kinds of monks. Actually, he didn't say 3 kinds of monks. Very, very interesting the way the Buddha put it. The Buddha said there are 3 kinds of people amongst the monks. But they're all monks, But the Buddha said there are 3 kinds of people amongst the monks. The first one is the hopeless one. Why? Because it's immoral, don't keep the rules, he's not a monk pretending to be a monk. So he hears somebody, someone became arahat, so wonderful, He can't be bothered. He doesn't think about it, because he doesn't even think that he can become an arahat, because he's a monk, That's called hopeless. Number 2 is the ordinary monk. He's hardworking, keeps the precept. He hears someone say, somebody become arahat, and he's so happy. And I said, I also want to be arahat. That's the hopeful one. Okay? And the third one, the third one is the arahat himself. The arahat hears someone else become an arahat. He just smiles. It's very good, because he's arahat already. So I'm sure you want to be number 2, right? The hopeful one. So this is what the Buddha is trying to say. As long as you're normal, we all are normal here. We are able to think for ourselves. We are healthy generally. So here we are, building up our wisdom. And wisdom is very important, because if we don't have wisdom, it's like, as we like to say, it's like handing our remote to someone else. Remote control TV. Whoever got remote control, you press a button, you can watch all the show. But if someone else takes your remote and start clicking, and you start dancing around like a puppet, then you have no life. People control you. What's the point? So the Buddha You know, in the Buddha's time, those priests, the Brahmins, the God believers, they want to control everybody. They say, hey, there is this big God in heaven, and we are born from the mouth of this God, so we are the priests. But they are the one telling the story. They say we are born from the mouth of this God, so we are the priests. We do the chanting, and some of you are born from the arms of God, so you are the warriors, so you protect us, And then the third one are born from the hips, the lower legs, and the upper part of the legs. So you are the merchants, so you make money, support us. And then the fourth class are the feet. So you do all the washing and dirty job, and so that it's easy life for the three of us. So these Brahmin priests are very cunning, and we invent all these stories to control the people. So the Buddha, and there are many others like the Buddha, they reject this kind of idea. They say, no, this is all false. We don't believe this. Everybody is equal. So the Brahmin, they say karma means rituals. Karma means rituals, you must do everything right, Somebody died, you must invite so many monks, have so many things, do this, do that, everything must be exact. Costs a lot of money, The Buddha say no such thing. Karma means your own action. It makes you good or bad. It's your own action, not a ritual, right? So the Buddha said that he changed things. Most important thing, he tells you, you can think for yourself. You don't need to rely on the priest. You don't need to rely on other people. You think for yourself. So then you are happy for yourself. You're not happy because of other people, other things. I call this unreasonable happiness. You know why? There's no reason to be happy. You're just happy. Now if that's the reason for you to be happy, suppose you're happy, why? Very happy because you got a new car. Very happy. When somebody scratch the car, you start crying already. Right? So in other words, if our happiness is outside us, we can lose the happiness. People can take it away. But the happiness inside you can never be lost. What is this happiness inside you? It's your own peace of mind. In Buddhism, we like to say calm. The mind must be calm and clear. In other words, for example, like if you practice breath meditation, your mind is calm. Then you slowly become more peaceful. Then your mind clears up. When your mind is clear, wisdom arises. Right? That's why you want a clear mind. That's why the fifth precept is against clouding up your mind. Right? So having said that, let me introduce you to this sutta. This sutta is on page 44. It's got a long name. Ambalatika Rahulowada Sutta. Page 44. 44. Yeah? Any extra books there? No more, is it? You don't have, we could bring next time. Any more? Somebody behind there? No more, is it? Right? Next time don't have, tell us, we can bring some more. Okay, Ambalatika Rahulo Wada Sutta. Ambalatika is the name of a place where the monks are staying. Amba means mango. Now Latika got two meanings. Latika can mean a sprout, or can also mean sugar cane. So maybe this place has got mango and sugar cane, right? It's the name of this. Rahula is the Buddha's son, only son. Owada means advice, okay? And Sutta means teaching handed down right from Buddha's time until now. Now let me just tell you a bit about Rahula first. As you know, Rahula is the Buddha's son. He was born on the day the Buddha decided to leave home. Can you imagine how dramatic it is? How difficult it was for the Buddha. He already decided to leave home to find out the answer to suffering. He was really troubled when he think about old age, disease, death, symbolized by the three sights. He saw an old man, sick man, dead man, remember? And he saw this holy man. Then he realized that's what he should do, become a holy man, search for the truth. Now there's something new in the Buddha's time, because there are a lot of these kind of people who leave home, look for answers. outside, often in the forest. The question we want to ask ourselves now, before we start the sutta, is: was the Buddha irresponsible in leaving home, leaving his child, leaving his wife? Some people say, "Oh, Buddha is not responsible. He got married and then left the wife and child at home." Some people have this wrong idea about the Buddha, right? Okay, so today let me just spend a few minutes to clarify this point. The Buddha was a very kind and sensitive young man. He was only 7 years old when he went into deep meditation. So you imagine what kind of person he is. He's able to meditate very deep, 7 years old. Why did he meditate? Because during the plowing festival, his father, even today in Thailand, they still have this plowing festival. It's a fertility ritual actually, because the king will plow the land and then bless the seeds. Then the seeds will be spread out all over the country to all the farmers, and then they plant it. They believe this will bring them good crops. And understandably, Thailand is very good rice producer. Right? So during the plowing festival, when the earth open up, they plow the earth. You see insects and worms come out, and then birds come and eat it. And then there are snakes. The snakes eat the bird, and then bigger bird eat the snake, and so on. So the young child Siddhartha was watching all this. He was not very happy. He see all these animals dying. He just walk away. People all think it's fun. Oh, the king is plowing. Look at all this festivity. He quietly went away. The 7-year-old child sat under the tree and meditated. He went into deep meditation called the first jhana. Okay? So we're talking about this kind of person, not an ordinary person. So, of course, his father, wants him to become the future king, take over his kingdom, give him all kinds of pleasure, nice 3 palaces for the 3 seasons, hot, cold, or rather cold, hot, rainy, and then these dancing women entertain him and so on. That could be the reason why he also, kind of was so used to the pleasure that in the end he said, is that all to life, And then one day, the famous story, he saw an old man, and then he realized he also is going to grow old, the father is going to grow old, everybody's going to grow old. So he got a shock. He said, wow, I don't want to grow old. Then what's the point of us being young? So he's very intelligent. He asked all these difficult questions, which even in philosophy we ask no answer. And then next he saw a sick man. He said, wow, what's this? Why does it smell like that? All dirty and looks terrible. The Channa, the charioteer, said he's sick. And then he said, wow, that's terrible. So I'm going to be sick. What's the point of health? So his intoxication with health evaporated. We all think, we're going to be healthy, but then we get sick somehow. Finally, he saw a dead person. That was a really terrible sight. He said, what? The storytellers want us to imagine that he has never seen a dead man before. So he said, wait, what is dead? Well, and then Channa is the commentator. Channa, the charioteer, drives the chariot. So he tells the prince, dead means your life stops, your breath stops, you can't do anything after that. It's gone, finished. So the Bodhisattva got a shock. He says, you mean this will happen to me, to everyone I love? He said, of course. So this young man said, wow, what is the point of us enjoying life when we will die? What's going on here? Isn't this a way out? So this is the thing. He asked all these important questions which we did not ask because we don't know how to solve these problems. So he was very depressed, very troubled. There's a special word for this kind of trouble. It's called samvega. Samvega means a powerful feeling when you're totally depressed, very up. You feel that everything has gone wrong. In Singapore, I can only think of, we talk about money and people get depressed. Let's say if you lose all the money you have, suddenly you realize life is meaningless. You don't know what to do. It's real. That's called samvega. So then when he saw the fourth sight, this holy man so peaceful, he said, that must be the answer. So how do I become happy? So he decided to become the holy man also. That's how he renounced the world. So he left the palace. Now, there are 2 stories here. This is a problem. There are 2 stories, One is a Sunday school story. Sunday school story is invented a bit later. It's like a gentler version of the original story. Original story not so dramatic, not so traumatic, not so dramatic. Okay. First the Sunday school story. He went quietly in the dark of night. He has to. He's taunted. He says, "Want to go? Don't want to go?" And the wife is there in the bedroom, and then the newborn child is there. He did not go near the wife because he's afraid that once the wife wake up, Indian women can be very noisy, So the whole palace will wake up, So he just stand at the door. There's a very nice painting, showing Prince Siddhartha standing at the door. The moon is shining, and looking at Yashodhara sleeping, and the baby is on the other side. So he couldn't even see the child, but he has to go away. And many legends start tripping in there, So the horse also is there. The charioteer is there getting a horse ready. So he rides the horse. He cuts across 3 kingdoms, goes very fast so that the king cannot catch him. And then he became a monk. So he left home. Is he responsible? Answer number 1.
The other version?
Oh, the other version. Okay, the other story is in the suttas simply say, the Buddha himself says, I left home when I was still young, black hair, right in front of my parents, and they were crying and trying to tell me not to go. So he actually left home openly. Of course, from the suttas we know he left home at 29 years old. So, and then he struggled for 6 years. 35 years old, he got awakened, became Buddha, and then he taught for 45 years and passed away at 80 years old or 81 years old. Alright, so is he responsible in leaving home? First answer, we're talking about a princess and a young prince, and they're taken care of by the palace, by the royal family. So the child and the mother are not destitute. They are well taken care of. So in that sense, Prince Siddhartha did not shirk his duties. Number 2 is a more important answer. You see, why do we respect the Buddha today? Because he made a great sacrifice. He found some very deep answers which we will never be able to do it ourselves. And to do that, he has to make a sacrifice. He has to leave home. Not because he doesn't love the family, but he loves the truth, the Dharma more. In a sense, he loves us more, if you like, because he wants to find out how to get rid of suffering. Then he said, then I will come back and teach my family. Okay, these 2 explanations for me is quite enough. There is a third explanation. Imagine if the Buddha didn't leave home. He became a monk, but still has a family, still got a child. He became a monk, get donation, support the family, support the child, and then maybe find some answers, some philosophical answer. Do you think we will respect him very much? We won't, isn't it? Because he's still, running a family, So he's not really totally dedicated to us as a world teacher. So that's why he has to totally leave home, make a big sacrifice, so that we can today be happy. He didn't die for us. He lived for us, which is more difficult, if you have a loving parent, let's say, if you say, my parent died for me, wow, nothing left, then you're on your own, how difficult it is for the family if the parent died, But the parents still stay on and support and work for the family. So to live for us is even more difficult. That's why we are so grateful to the Buddha. So people start thinking that Buddha is responsible for living home. These are some of the answers. Do remember. So Rahula also became a monk. You see, how did Rahula become a monk? So when Siddhartha left home, the father knew he couldn't stop him, so the father said, please come back, visit us once you become the Buddha, alright? So the Buddha said, okay. So at the end of the first year, that means second year, after the first Vasa, he came back to Kapilavatthu, to somewhere at the India-Nepal border today. So that's where the whole family came, and the father was very excited. But the Buddha is a monk, So the wife, Yashodhara, told the young boy, the child Rahula, said, go to your father, go to the Buddha, and ask him for your inheritance. Ask him for your legacy. So this is a beautiful sight. You see a 7-year-old boy going up to the Buddha, very tall man. So he looks up to the Buddha and says, oh Lord, please give me my legacy. Then the Buddha thought, well, the only legacy I have is awakening. It's the Bodhi. So as a father, the Buddha became a monk. So he became a monk. Right? And you see, remember, to become Buddha's son is not something simple, you know. You must have done a lot of merits, wonderful good karma in the past. And to just become a monk like that, not easy also. Of course, the father was not very happy. The Suddhodana was upset. He said, first I lost my son, now I lost my grandson. So he told the Buddha, can you please not ordain young boys next time? So then the Buddha made a rule, say, okay, any young boy must get ordained, must get parents' permission, something like that. Yeah. So anyway, this Rahula became a monk. Okay, at 7 years old. All right, and this is probably one of the first suttas that the Buddha taught him. 7 years old can be quite intelligent. Here, 7 years old, kind of primary one, right? So this is the sutta the Buddha taught his 7-year-old son, Ambalatika Rahulawada Sutta. So obviously it's quite a simple sutta, but still applicable to everyone. Let's look at the translation on page 46. By the way, any word you're not sure anytime, you put up your hand, okay? And then you can ask me. Page 46, the discourse on the advice to Rahula at Ambalatika. By the way, it is because of this sutta that this book was printed. Because there was this lady from US, I never met her, a Vietnamese lady. She contacted a friend of mine in Singapore. She said, I want to print a book. You must have this sutta and a few other suttas. So that's how this book was printed. So, okay. Section 1. Thus have I heard. At one time, the Blessed One was staying in the squirrels' feeding ground in the bamboo grove in Rajgaha. Rajgaha is Rajgir, northern India. At that time, Rahula was staying at Ambalatika. So notice they are in different places, okay, not too far away. At that time, the Venerable Rahula was staying in Ambalatika. Then the Blessed One, emerging from his evening retreat, went to where the Venerable Rahula was staying at Ambalatika. The Venerable Rahula saw him coming from afar, and seeing him, prepared a seat and water for washing his feet. I want just to imagine, this 7-year-old novice doing all this. Very clever, very beautiful sight. The Blessed One sat down on the prepared seat, and then Rahula came and bowed down to the Buddha, paid respect and so on, and then sat down at one side. And then the Buddha starts his teaching. Okay? Section 3. Then the Blessed One, having left a little bit of water in the water vessel, said this to the Venerable Rahula. Okay, here let's look at the scene a bit. Sometimes when you read sutta, you must imagine the scenario. Here, Rahula, what has he done? He has given the Buddha some water to wash feet. This is what they normally do, because in India they walk bare feet, the ground is dusty. So the moment travelers come to the house, one of the first thing, outside there's always a jug of water, a jar of water. So if it's a very important person, the house people will come out, take water and wash the feet of the guests, especially monks. Otherwise, the guests will themselves wash their feet. So they give water for washing the feet, water for drinking, water for washing hands, things like that. So in this case, the Buddha left a bit of water in the container. He's going to use this to teach Rahula. So this is called object lesson. So then the Buddha said, Rahula, do you see this little bit of water remaining in the water vessel? See, because it's a 7-year-old kid, so the Buddha used object lessons so that this young boy can fix his mind on the water vessel. And then Rahula says, yes, Bhante. Bhante simply means sir. Okay, like locally we say Tuan, sir. Even so, Rahula, little is the recluseship of those who have no shame in telling a deliberate lie. So there you are. The Buddha say, okay, see very little water here, right? So if you lie, because he's a 7-year-old kid, so if you lie, then your goodness as a monk, recluseship means the true state of a monk. Okay, that means your true state of a monk is very little, just like that, the little bit of water. Right? So imagine in the mind of Rahula, it's very clear, right? The vessel is so big, but a little bit of water. And then the Buddha did a few things, very interesting. He does a few things. 4. Having thrown away the little bit of remaining water, the Blessed One said to the Venerable Rahula, Rahula, do you see how this little bit of water remaining, water is thrown away? Yes, Bhante, Rahula says. Even so, Rahula, thrown away is the recluseship of those who have no shame in telling a deliberate lie. Right? So number one, if you lie, then it's just like it's bad enough. You've got a little bit of holiness on it. Now, if you are not ashamed of telling lies, in other words, you actually enjoy doing it, then it's like all your goodness as a monk is gone. All of goodness is gone. Right? And then, so something else the Buddha did, section 5. Having turned the water vessel upside down, the Blessed One said to the Venerable Rahula, Rahula, do you see how the water vessel is turned upside down? Yes, Bhante. Even so, Rahula, upside down is the recluseship of those who have no shame in telling a deliberate lie. Now, of course, here we just read what the bowl turned upside down. We don't know the significance, but turning upside down of the bowl among the monks is very significant. You see, our relationship with the monks is that of respect. Respect means accepting people as they are. Sometimes we have wrong ideas. People teach us wrong idea about respect. Respect like someone more powerful we respect. That's the wrong way, okay? That's political respect. The real Buddhist respect is to respect people as they really are. Yes, we respect old people. Why? Because they're old. But what's the big deal then? Well, when they're old means they're not strong. We got to help them because of that. And maybe they're wiser. We want to learn from them, so we have to respect them. We also respect young people. All right. Let's say while we are studying here, and then a young little boy, say 5-year-old kid, running up and down and say doing all the funny baby sounds. We don't get angry, do we? We say, oh, it's just a child, right? So we respect the child. We also respect young people in that sense, to take them as they are. So we don't get upset with them. We adjust our conduct to wisely come to the level of that person. So the Buddha has done just that. He brings himself down in teaching to the level of Rahula, who was 7 years old. So turning up the bowl here is when the monk, say the monk is good, but the lay people are not good. The lay people talk bad about him, and there's no way of answering back. The monks are non-violent. The real monks, they're non-violent. They won't answer you. They won't hit back. They won't definitely be violent. The true monks. But if, let's say, lay people really do something bad to them, talk bad about them, and so on, what the monks will do is they will gather together and perform what's called a Sangha Karma. Sangha Karma means the monks get together and say, okay, this is what happened, right? From now on, this lay person has been talking bad about us like this, so we will turn the bowl down on him. That means if the bowl is turned upside down, means you don't collect food. So the monks, simply put, will boycott you. They will not get the food from you. And this is like something like what do you call that? Ostracizing somebody in a sense. But here is a gentle way of saying, we donate your alms. And once you can't give alms, you don't get married. You don't get married because the monks accept alms from you not because they ask the food from you. No, definitely not the arahats. The arahats do not ask food from you. They stand at the house to show their presence. And you as a layperson see, oh, there's a monk there. Not only a monk, he looks very calm and peaceful. Surely he must be an arahat. Then you say, in Thailand, whenever a monk comes to the house, there's a Thai way of saying, we say Prat Ma Pro. Prat means monk, Ma means come, Pro means give you a chance to get married. In English we say give you a chance to get married. So how many words? Huh? In Thai, one word only, pro. So it's a Prat Ma Pro. That means there's a monk waiting outside. Here's our chance to make marriage. Right? So we take something from our table. We prepare food that we are going to eat, even food we have eaten. The sutta says, from the bottom, from the middle, from the top. The monk doesn't complain; he accepts humbly. Some people they're eating, and the monk comes along. They've got nothing left, only what they're eating. So they'll give just that, the remainder of the food. They'll give to the monk, and that also regarded as meritorious. Can you imagine how simple, humble the monk's life is? So, once you give to the monk, it's a meritorious treat on your part, and also you're giving life to the monks. Because with the arahat is concerned, if they have no food, it's okay. They go on meditating, and in the end, their life stops, they die. And they're not bothered with that. They're awakened anyway. They're in nirvana. So by feeding them, we keep them alive, then they teach us Dharma. So this is the arrangement, you see. So if the bowl is turned upside down, we cannot give them alms. Then we are on the losing side, in other words. Okay? So here, the bowl is turned upside down for the monk. So in other words, in this case, the monk himself loses all this goodness in a very terrible way. Because the layman won't support this time. It's the other way around, right? So you have a story of the monks, which place is that? In the west of India. Kosambi. The monks are very quarrelsome. Because Kosambi is far west of the Buddha's land, also like remote area. So the monks are not so disciplined, like to quarrel. They're very quarrelsome, quarrel over small things. And the Buddha tried to help them. You know what they tell the Buddha? You leave us alone, we will settle this ourselves. So the Buddha tell a lot of stories, tried to, advise them, they won't listen. So the Buddha quietly left them. And the lay people heard that the Buddha left them. The Buddha, because it was rains retreat 3 months, the Buddha spent all by himself in Palelaya forest. This is how you get the Palelaya temple name, Palelaya forest. And during the 3 months, he was taken care of by the elephant and the monkey, who brought fruits for him. And the elephant boiled hot water for him. The elephant watched how he used a fire stick, and so the elephant actually boiled water. Very interesting story. So the Buddha said by himself, the monks were all alone, the lay people heard that, they didn't support the monks, so the monks were hungry for 3 months. Then they learned a lesson. After Buddha came back, they're very happy. So this is the other way around. Lay people can also boycott bad monks. Right? So the bowl is a very powerful weapon, in a manner of speaking. So here the Buddha said, don't turn the bowl upside down. So it's a very powerful symbol of losing your spiritual goodness. Alright, so this is the first part. Now, the Buddha goes on to the parable of the royal elephant. Something a little deeper. But still, a young boy would like to listen about elephants. Section 7. Suppose, Rahula, there is this royal elephant. It stands long like chariot poles, fully grown, fit to carry a burden, of good pedigree, that means well raised, well grown, accustomed to battles, and in battle it uses its forefeet and hind feet, its forequarters and hindquarters, its head and ears, and paws and tail, but protects its trunk. Noticing this, the elephant rider notices and says, okay, this elephant is very good. See, because in India, those days, when you go to war, the elephant is like a tank. So if they see this elephant is intelligent, that means the elephant will protect the trunk. The other part of the body is very tough. You will use that to fight the enemy and say, okay, this elephant is very good. On the other hand, so it says, 7.3, Rahula, it is the same with anyone who has no shame in telling a deliberate lie. There is no bad, I say, that he will not do. Right? So here, the elephant, if this elephant is not clever, then it will panic, it will be afraid in the battle, And then the elephant caretaker will say, oh, this elephant is not good. Right? And this elephant is not very helpful, not clever. So the Buddha said, similarly, if someone who likes to tell a lie, will also be like this elephant the bad elephant become callous, then also do bad things. So notice that what the Buddha is teaching Rahula is saying that he is not telling Rahula not to kill, he didn't tell Rahula to meditate, he just said, do not lie. Because if someone can lie, he can also break the other precepts. Right? So this is what the Buddha is trying to teach Rahula. So tell the truth so that you can learn the truth. Alright? Now, at this point, let me just tell you one more thing before we take a break. Here, let's see. So you have this, the Buddha is telling Rahula not to lie, to tell the truth, because to know the truth is the Dharma. And if you do not know the truth or love the truth, you hide the truth, then how can you learn the Dharma? That's how it goes, On a higher level, truth also means the Dharma. So this is the bigger meaning, to understand. Okay, any questions for the moment? Anything you don't understand? Clear enough?
This not telling lie, is it include the other three?
You're talking about, the false kind of speech,
Yeah.
Yes. When you talk about the precept, the Musavada fourth precept, right? Is it covers all the other three also included, because otherwise it would not be complete, right? So the speech also should not break up people, should not be harsh, and what was the last one? Should not be frivolous, So those are the four right speeches. Because speech is a way of communicating, right? For example, why we gathered here today is because we know that we all will tell the truth. Suppose if I don't tell you the truth, start talking nonsense or make fun of you, then you won't learn anything. It's not helpful, right? So this is a basic value among humans, right? That's why we have the 5 precepts, basic values. One of the most basic values is that of truth. Because if you don't value truth, nothing can happen. Nothing good can happen. Okay, just a bit more, then we will have a break. Now, so previously Buddha says you should be like this royal elephant, always guarding yourself against all these enemies who are attacking. So when you keep the precept, you're also pushing away all the wrong acts. And you're protecting your goodness, like the elephant protecting its trunk. Because the elephant's trunk is very sensitive. The parable of the mirror, this is very beautiful, 8, section 8. What do you think, Rahula? What is a mirror for? Notice, the Buddha makes sure that Rahula knows what the Buddha is going to talk about. What is the mirror for? We all know mirror is for reflection, Bhante. Mirror is for looking inside and see ourselves. Then, see here what the Buddha is doing is he is using something which is known and is going to teach something which Rahula doesn't know, something new, right? From the unknown, from the known to the unknown. Then the Buddha says, in the same way, or even so, whenever you see that, then the Dharma is coming. In the same way, Rahula, bodily action should be done only after repeated reflection or constant review, right? If you see square brackets, that means you can choose whichever translation is easier for you. Verbal action, that means your words, should be done only after repeated reflection. Mental action, your thinking, should be done only after repeated reflection. Alright? So these are called the three doors. The three doors of action, the three doors of karma. Our karma arises in us through the three doors: body, speech, and mind. So this next teaching, the Buddha tells Rahula, before you do anything, think carefully first. What will be the consequence of it? Is this right? Is this wrong? Right? Before you speak, also do that. But the third one is tricky, Before you think, how do you do that? This is where you must understand the nature of Buddhist psychology. You see, according to Buddhism, the mind has got many aspects. Right? For example, when you think something, and then there's another voice in your head say, "Don't think like that."
Yeah.
Right? We all are able to think that way, right? So our mind is not just one voice, many voices. At least two voices. Sometimes you get three voices. But the problem is, if you think those voices are real, then you are in serious trouble. They're not real, it's your own voice. Alright? And there's some people who actually believe those voices are real and they egg it out. We call them schizophrenic, right? So that's a very serious problem. So in early Buddhism, we are taught all these things are mind-made, in our mind. In other words, we can control them, we can stop them, we can shape them, we can change them. So here meaning, you think something and then it's negative, you say, oh no, should not think like this. So in this case, actually, it's more like after the act. Something happens and then you review, right? Something happens, you review. Even in the mirror, you look in the mirror, there's already an image, then you see the image, right? So when the negative thought comes, maybe simple thing, let's say you get angry, okay? We all get angry, So, and it's not good to be angry. Of course, when you're angry, you're not happy. So, after a while, maybe you come for study here or you go for a retreat, you're very happy, Then you look back and say, oh, I shouldn't have got angry. It's not good to be angry, Number one, when I feel angry, my heart rate goes up. My heartbeat also goes up. That's not good, Blood pressure also goes up. And then you look ugly, The next time, you should give your friend permission. When you get angry, your friend will take a picture of you. Believe me, it's a very interesting picture of us when we are angry. Alright? Some stupid men like to tell the girlfriend, oh, you're beautiful when you're angry. Wait till they get married. After that, they know what anger is. So, anger is not good. In many ways. It is a wrong way of solving problems. It means you don't like the person. Of course, sometimes we can't help it, like I said, because our good karma is not strong enough. So this is where reflection comes in. So this comes the same thing with precept. You all are very good Buddhists. You are so worried you break the precepts. Well, to be honest to yourself is that the precepts are such that because you are not awakened, somehow you will break them. Not because you want to, but things happen, right? So when things happen, you can't control yourself, a precept is broken. Of course, precept broken means precept broken. You cannot say, oh, it's okay, I come for Sutta class, the teacher say it's alright. No such thing. no such thing. Don't say I say it. It's your karma, not mine. Now we come to the funny question, the so-called mosquito question, cockroach question. A lot of teachers don't like that because they don't know how to answer. It's very difficult. I mean, it can be answered, but it's tiresome. Now, the point is, it should not be answered. Because you say yes or no, you get into trouble. So you must think for yourself. Because you don't kill is good, you kill is good. And then you say, if I don't kill, then bad health. So you got to decide. So I cannot say, oh, you must do. Because these are special cases, You got to decide on the spot. That's your decision. That's number one, you must understand. Okay? Number two, it doesn't mean that every time you do a bad karma means you must pay for it. No, there's some teacher from other religions who say that, For example, you kill an ant, you'll be reborn as an ant, and then the ant will kill you. That is enough. You kill the ant kill you, you kill the ant kill you. Forever, You'll never get enlightened. The Buddha said you will never get enlightened that way. So the bad karma that you do will not ripen right away. Imagine, every time you do a bad deed, you put a black seed inside this big jar. You do a good deed, white seed, black seed, white seed, so you put inside. So most of you are doing good deeds, so lots of white seed. So the white seed will cover the black seed, so you're safe. As long as there's no water, no warmth, no soil, the conditions are not right, the seeds won't ripen. But once there's a right condition, the seeds will ripen. At different times, different seeds will ripen. Now the problem with bad karma is, once one bad karma ripens, many other bad karma also will follow. That's why we don't want bad karma to happen. So do you understand very briefly how karma works now? It doesn't mean you kill all these insects and then it will come back to you. Maybe in this whole lifetime, this karma won't come back to you because your mind is not that of a killer. You feel very bad when you kill. You do many other good things. All this killing insects is very rare. So don't worry too much about this. Just be mindful, be careful. There are ways of getting rid of all these insects. Keep your house clean, for example. If you are messy, you see a cockroach there, you say, well, eat all you can, and I'm going to throw you away. Okay, so the cockroach come because there's food there. Right? So these are all simple, logical things which you should do. Right? So remember, karma works like that. It's very complicated. All right. So these are the three doors: body, speech, and mind, through which we act. All right. Of course, the main action is to the mind. There's also mental karma. But precepts is mostly, in fact, not mostly, is only body and speech. Okay? So if it is, let's say if you think an angry thought, let's say the Dhamma teacher talked so long and then you got so tired you feel like killing him. But you never killed him, just a thought only. You have not broken the precept. I'm just making a joke here, okay? So if you think of it but you didn't do it, you have not broken the precept. Okay? So thinking alone doesn't break the precept. It's not regarded as breaking precept. But if you have a negative thought, then one day you are likely to do it. That's why we don't to cultivate negative thought also. We'll look at this aspect afterwards, after the break. Okay? Alright. So a break now. 8:30, just nice, So, okay, we're on page 48 now. 48. Okay, this part is the deeper teaching. This is the teaching which is given to us on the three doors. In the normal translation, you don't see all these wordings. I put in all these subtitles to help us to understand the passage easier. So remember the three doors: body, speech, and mind. So here the Buddha is going to talk to us about the three doors, 3 periods of time, and the 3 purities. Oh, you like numbers? There's a lot of numbers here. 3. Reflection on bodily action. Now, one thing I have to tell you about this, the nature of early Buddhism is repetitive. That means you just relax, you listen. And when you listen, you let it sink in, as you say, then the habit will grow into you. The intellectual way of listening is just listen once and you say etc. Whatever it is, you just fill in. Then we don't learn. That one is just collect Buddhism as facts. You find you won't learn. Remember, Buddhism is to change your life, not to know this, know that. You know a lot of things. You find you're just looking for quarrel, arguments, and lose friends, right? The idea of Buddhism is we change our lives. So you may not remember all the things you learned in the Rahula Sutta, but you know lying is wrong, you understand the 3 doors, and you act wholesomely, happily, accordingly, you have benefited already. If you can remember the sutta, then you can be a Dhamma teacher. Okay? So this is the choice we all make. Alright, reflecting on bodily action. Now, if you look at the heading, it helps also. If you look on the other opposite side, reflecting on verbal action. And then further down on the next page, reflecting on mental action. So it's very systematic the way the suttas are arranged. Section 9. Consider wisely before doing. Rahula, whenever you want to do an action with the body, you should reflect thus. This action I want to do with the body, will it harm me or harm others or both? Is it an unwholesome bodily action with painful outcome, painful result? If Rahula, on reflection, you know it will harm me or others or both, it will be unwholesome bodily action with painful outcome, painful result, then certainly you should not do such an action with the body. Okay, so this is an example of moral teaching. How do we know an action is right? You think about it. If I do this, or if we do this, will it hurt me? Will it hurt someone else? The third one means society as a whole, nature, if you like. Right? So these are called the 3 purities of your action. Will it hurt me? Will it hurt others? Will it hurt the environment? Alright? 3 purities. So the Buddha said, if you think it will hurt, then don't do it. Right? On the other hand, if you think, okay, it won't hurt me, it won't hurt others, it won't hurt the environment, then it's okay. Then you can do it. Even then, you've got to think about it carefully and do it at the right time. Right? Then number 10. Consider wisely while doing. Previously is before you act. Before you act. This one, next one is while you are doing it. Okay? Rahula, while you are doing an action with the body, you should reflect on it. This action I'm doing with the body, is it harming me or others, or harming everyone else? Nature, right? Same thing, everything's repeated. So you reflect while you're doing it. Right? Sometimes you think it's right because your friend says it's right. Then you're doing it, say, something is wrong here. Then you tell us, okay, I think I've got to stop doing it. Right? Maybe you should even go away quietly, something like that. Alright? So then 11, consider wisely after doing. Remember I told you just now, sometimes we break precepts. Right? Remember the Buddha gave us the 5 precepts because he knows these are 5 things very difficult to keep. We are sure to break them. But it doesn't mean that is an excuse. It's not an excuse. It is a learning process. I like to say suffering is a teacher. Suffering is our teacher. Of course, if you are not wise, then suffering is not a teacher. But if you are wise, your suffering is your teacher. Because when you suffer, you ask yourself, why must I suffer? And then you find out the cause. And then you change it, then you don't suffer. That's how all the great inventions happen to us, At one time, people say, it's very uncomfortable to travel so slow like this. Then they invent carts and cars and rockets and so on. Right? So, when you suffer, ask yourself, why? What are the conditions bringing the suffering? And then correct the conditions. And then you find you're happy after that. So this is after the fact. Right? So the precepts are easily broken. So when the conditions are such, you do break the precept. Later you look back and say, well, why did I break the precept? And then you notice, oh, there are certain conditions you could have avoided them. That's the meaning here. Consider wisely after doing. Rahula, having done an action with the body, you should reflect on it. This action I've done with the body, did it harm me? Did it harm others? Did it harm the environment? If it did, oh, I shouldn't have done it, right? So very simple moral teaching, nothing philosophical here. This is Buddhist philosophy, but it's not philosophical in the sense just thinking on it. You're actually doing it also. Very direct, very straightforward, very pragmatic, we say. There's something else the Buddha said. Confession and contrition. Contrition means you feel really bad about it. You won't do it again. Today's paper, we see some authorities, the MRT authorities, became like the Japanese, bowing down and saying sorry for the breakdown. It's very nice of them. So anyway, the thing is, you must also be contrition, so hopefully that you work hard and these things will happen again, right? So what does the Buddha talk about confession and contrition? If Rahula, on reflection, you know it did harm me or harm others or harm both, it was an unwholesome bodily action with painful outcome, painful results, then you should confess it, reveal it, lay it open to the teacher or to wise companions in the holy life. Right? You don't simply talk to your neighbor. You talk to someone who can help you, who won't take advantage of you. You see, actually from my understanding, monks' confession, they usually don't tell the exact thing that you do, not like in some other religion, because that causes a lot of problems, a lot of political problems also. You do something and then you tell all the details, and the priests are very powerful, they hear all the secrets, So normally we don't tell exactly, we say it in a generic way. For example, if you have killed something, we say, oh, I had a lot of anger in me, or I was not mindful, something like that. You give the mind behind the action, and then the teacher will advise you to be more mindful. And when you hear the Dharma also, you can hear some teachings telling you, okay, how to be more mindful, right? So the idea of confessing here is you try to look back and see what is the background, what is the negative, is it body, speech, mind, is it greed, hate, delusion? So generic, we don't have to tell the exact details. As far as I understand in the suttas, we don't do that, okay? I don't know about some other monks, but maybe they might do it the other way. I don't know, you got to ask them, but as far as I know, we never tell exactly. We tell it in a generic way, okay? Because we could be wrong if we're too exact. That's the problem about being too exact in the wrong action. It's just an opinion we have about ourselves. So the idea, we want to get rid of that negative thought behind the action. What made you show your anger, for example, right? And then maybe you didn't like this person. That's hatred, actually. So what should be overcome is the hatred. You overcome the hatred, you overcome the anger also, like that, yeah? Okay, so confession means you tell it to someone wiser, someone who can help you, the teacher or someone basically can help you, right? 11.2, having confessed it, reveal it, or let it open to the teacher, to wise companions in the holy life, you should show restraint in the future. Then after that, remember, this is confess means you're pure, and then you can do it again. This is one of the problems about confession. So I confess it, so you do it again, and then confess again. So that will be encouraging you to do it. Then you say, oh, it's okay as long as I confess it. That's a terrible way of thinking, Here the Buddha said, after that you must restrain yourself. That's called contrition, right? 11.3, but Rahula, if on reflection you know it did not harm me or harm others or harm environment, then you can do this good action. The last line says, then you should with zest and joy train night and day in wholesome things. Notice zest and joy. Practice happily. Practice the Buddhist Dharma happily. Come here happily. Listen happily. Go home happily. It's a wonderful thing. Right? So these are the three purities of your action also. Happy before, happy during, happy after. Especially you prepare dana for the monks. So you prepare, you're not supposed to scold anybody, you know. I mean, if you scold, then it's not perfect giving. Right? So be patient. It's a time for us. Remember, the Dharma means, the Buddhism means you have a chance to change, you know. So when you're preparing the food for the monks, everybody is working together. No master, no slave, no servant. We all do it together. So you do it happily. You go and buy food also. Remember, when you go to the hawker center, you look at the cook, you say happy, smiling, or not. If you're cursing and scolding people, no point eating that kind of food. Not healthy. Not healthy. Right? So then when you're giving, give happily also. Don't complain, don't say things which are not necessary. And after that also, don't worry, you have given. Don't say, oh yeah, did I give too little? Did I give too much? This monk are not worth it. Don't say that. Okay, just you have given. Be happy. Alright? So happy before, happy during, happy after. Then you're totally happy. But that doesn't mean if something is really wrong, you must keep quiet. There are ways of talking about it. Yeah? Because we want to correct habitually wrong things. Yes, there's a time for that also. But this time of giving is a practice of something joyful. Right? So there's a time for different kinds of action. Alright, so there you are. This is the action of the body. And then everything is repeated for speech. So same thing. Before you say something, you think, this thing I say, will it hurt me? Will it hurt other people? Will it help? Or will it hurt the public and environment? Right? If no, then fine, you can do it with joy. Okay? If it is wrong, then you reflect, then you confess it. You talk to the teacher, say, I said something wrong. And the teacher will say, why did you say this? And then after that, the teacher will say, okay, be more mindful. And then you have that sense of empowerment. You should feel stronger. You say, okay, now yes, I'm going to be more motivated. I will not get angry anymore. I will not scold people anymore, something like that. Then the last one is thinking. Okay, this one is the difficult one. If you notice, you think negative thoughts before, during, after, a bit tricky, right? So this is where, once you are mindful, this is where Buddhism is very useful, when it comes to thinking. Thinking very difficult to notice and control. So you must have training. Once you study the Dharma talks about the mind, talks about how you can calm your mind. So next time you notice, oh dear, I think I'm going to feel angry, so I better do something. Maybe smile, do a smiling meditation. I call my meditation smiling meditation because we smile in it. And when you smile, it's easier to meditate. Or you can think of happy thoughts, do loving kindness. Or maybe go jogging, whatever, do something different, right? So you know how to prevent the negative thoughts. And while the negative thought is happening, we do get angry, we're not enlightened, so we do get angry. Then you watch it, wow, this is anger. It's not good at all. This is how I feel. This is terrible. It's different from being angry and enjoying it, and angry and watching it. Right? So next time you're jealous, you have desire, watch it. And you find next time you're less likely to have it. So this is when you know yourself. That's the big difference, Right? So this is where even bad people can go to temple. I remember when I was a monk, I get all kinds of funny questions. There was one person who asked me, I'm a bad guy, how can I go to temple? All for good guys. I said, who says so? I said, how do you know all those are good guys in the temple? So I said, if you're a bad guy, you must go to temple even more. Then learn good things, So it's not really good or bad. You just go there to learn things. Then you begin to discover about yourself. Right? Then if you notice, oh wow, I can't control my mind. Okay. Time for confession. Compassion means you tell a teacher, okay, I can't control my mind, it's very difficult, it's like this. Then teacher will teach you meditation. You go for meditation retreat, this helps. Alright? So this is the last one, mental action. So that kind of covers the main part. So now comes the ending. Purity of the three doors. Now before that, once again, I want you to look at the way the sutta is structured, from page 48 to 50. Long repetition. This is like a computer program, It's because it's like a reflection. It's meant to be read and you listen to it. Everything is structured step by step. It's as if your thoughts are being given line by line how it's happening. It's amazing anyone can do this, I mean, if you today just ask someone, say, hey, can you write down how your thought works? I don't think anyone can. But in the suttas, you see everything laid down so systematically, and the psychologists value this kind of document, So for us, this sutta is meant to be heard. So you can take all these things and then you listen. And then once you listen, you empower yourself. Oh yeah, I'm not going to break the precept. I'm not going to get angry. I'm not going to do bad things. So this is what the sutta does for us. The repetition, people like to say, oh, it's repetitive, boring. I already know. Very dangerous, Because it doesn't change you. But when you understand it, it's different. We know too much nowadays. This Facebook, wow, a lot of things. Anything you want, you can go to Facebook, look for it. Even make bombs. But knowledge is not always helpful. In fact, knowledge stuns you. Knowledge stops your growth. Because once you know, you say, oh, I know already. When you hear someone says that, you say, no way of talking to this person. I know already. Right? You should say, I know this, but I want to understand it. Wow, that's very wise, because I know this, but I want to understand it. Wisdom means you know how to use this knowledge to bring happiness, to correct things which are wrong and bad. When not to use it even, that's wisdom. So it's very different. Another way of putting it is, what you learn from others is knowledge. What you learn for yourself is wisdom. Because what you learn for yourself, you won't forget. Okay? Alright, now the conclusion. Section 18:1.8. Rahula, all those recluses and Brahmins of the past purified their bodily actions, purified their verbal actions, purified their mental action, had done so through repeated reflection on their bodily action, through repeated action on their verbal action, through repeated action on their mental action. Rahula, all those recluses and Brahmins of the future also do the same, of the present also do the same. So here the Buddha is telling Rahula, say this is not something special. All the good people practice this. So the Buddha is teaching something universal, not something unique or secretive, right? Universal, good for everybody. This is one of the problems. Some people say, oh, Buddhism is not religion because of this, because it's very universal, right? Even if you're not a Buddhist, you can practice this. It's very interesting. Buddhism is the religion for all religions. Anyway, so the wise people of the past, the wise people of the future, and in the present, they all do this. They think before they act, they watch what they're doing, and after that they reflect. When they talk also the same thing. When they think also the same thing. So summary, you have 3 doors of action: body, speech and mind. You have the 3 periods: past. Here we say past, present, future. Sutta like to say past, future, present. So it doesn't matter, you can say past, present, future. And then the 3 purities. What are the 3 purities? Yeah, think you reflect before, reflect during, reflect after. Happy before, happy during, happy after. If you are doing something good, not when you're doing something bad. So when you're doing something good, you're happy before, happy during, happy after. And so then finally the Buddha closes and says, this is last line, second last line. This is how Rahula you should train yourself. The Blessed One said this. the Venerable Rahula joyfully approved of the Blessed One's words. It's a sadhu. Yeah? So this is the child listening to the father teaching. Okay. All right. Any questions? Also remember, you can download a lot of suttas. 10,000 pages of suttas from dhammathera.org. You know the address at the bottom of your page. Right, in the center of the page there, dhammathera.org. A lot of things there. Other than suttas, there are also reflections and so on. And I also got my own Facebook, lots of, we discuss a lot of controversial stuff there. Defending Buddhism.
One question.
Sure.
When people ask to do something, I said, Mabbe, you do this, Mabbe, that you got merits on. But I said, I like merits not to do. I refuse to do. Wrong way.
Merits, is it?
No, you do this, you will receive merit.
Why do you? Okay.
I do this, I receive merit.
All right. So why do you walk away?
Because I want to know about it. You do this, you get merit. When I do something, I do it out. I need it. I do it just for
Yes.
because of merit, I have to do it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I wouldn't say it is wrong. I mean, it's that's how you feel about it, and I think you have the right to do it. But it's good to understand why. It is true. Some people, they just say do this, do that because of merit, you know, which is not wrong. But then again, you got to understand that two things: merit. You got what? Kusala and punya. Punya and kusala. Okay, let me write these two as well. They're very important. Merit is the old school way of thinking. The Brahmins say, okay, you do this, you do your rituals right, it's good merit, so you get blessings, you go to heaven. You do bad things, opposite of merit is bad, then you will suffer, you know. So, of course, in Buddhism, we do talk about merit. Say you do good, it's meritorious, you know. But the problem is, if you do good, you still come back to the world. You're still caught up with samsara, you know. So what the Buddha says, the arahat is beyond punya and papa. Papa means bad, good and bad, the opposite. So the arahat is beyond good and bad. What is good and bad? It's karma. But arahats can, we can't. For example, when we study suttas, it's punya, it's meritorious, you know, we get wisdom, is it? This is the groundwork. It doesn't bring us awakening. Punya doesn't bring awakening. Kusala brings awakening. Now, kusala sometimes translated as skillful, wholesome. Okay, so this one is the Buddhist idea of goodness. Kusala, akusala. Akusala means unwholesome. Alright? So, when you meditate, what happens when you meditate? Right? So this comes to another very important area. When you meditate, you close your eyes, you sit still. Why? Because you want to close the 5 sense doors. Eye, ear, nose, tongue, body. The 5 sense doors are the doors of your karma. Okay? You can say 3 sense doors, or 5 sense doors, or 6 sense doors. 3 is the simplified one: body, speech, and mind. Okay? But body, you have action, and then you have smell, taste, touch, hearing, right? You have 5 physical bodily action. The 6th one is the mind. Of course, karma also includes mind. So our 6 senses are all involved in karma. Oh, there's a simpler way of dividing up all these senses also: body and mind. 2 ways is body and mind. Okay? 3 ways: body, speech, and mind. And then 5, you have the 5 senses plus mind, and then 6 senses. Okay. So when we meditate, we close the 5 sense doors so that we don't have to deal with them. We only want to deal with the mind. When you deal with the mind directly, it is called kusala. This is what the Buddha teaches us. Okay. Once you understand the mind, then you're at peace with yourself, and that peacefulness is very powerful, right? But there's a problem here. See, we don't always have the chance to sit quietly, peacefully. You see? So this is where the punya, the merit, comes in. If we do some good deeds, then we are rich, we are healthy, we have a nice home. Then we can get together, have sutta study. So it's kind of functional kind of good karma. Okay. When we say we should do something good, we also should say we are doing it because we are happy doing it. That's important also. So you can ask your friend, why do you want to do this? And they say, I don't think I'm interested in this, maybe some other thing. You can say there's nothing wrong in that. For example, you have a lot of people at the MRT collecting donations. You don't have to give to all of them. You give to what you've...
Donation is okay when the account is you have knowing that matters better.
Yeah, you ask them.
I have this, when you ask me, but now this one, I look at this one. When they say, you receive marriage, I thank you much. Same to you, because how to
But there are many ways of making married anyway,
It's good, anyway.
There are many ways. So even if you say no, it doesn't mean it's bad. It's just that maybe you don't feel it's the right time. So don't feel guilty about it. It's just that you must have the right feeling for it.
Happy when you're giving.
I think when you give, you should not always expect returns.
No expectation.
Yep.
No expectation.
True. Yeah.
That's what I always feel that if you want to do something, don't
Just
think
do
of
it.
I'm going to
Yeah.
get this, I'm going to get that.
You must tell people.
If it's
You must tell people who go gambling to think the same way. Because they go gambling, they think by a bit of money they can get a lot. You must always think once you go there, don't expect any returns. You are going to throw your money. Then you're surprised if you do get it. I mean, by the law of probability, you're unlikely to get back your money.
Like the lady
Yeah?
who called you for.
Yes.
The vegetarian lady,
Or remember, whenever you get a lot of money, a lot of problems will come also. Yeah, suddenly you get a lot of relatives that you do not know start coming to you for one thing. And then you got to make sure your door is strong. At night you can't sleep well. So.
But she did a good thing, she did donation.
Yes. Okay, any other question?
About the inspiration after giving. When
Oh,
you're
yeah.
giving.
After every good deed you do, like today's study, this is a time to aspire to something which is important to you. Maybe you want peace of mind, or you're worried about somebody who's sick. You say, by the good deeds I've done today, I send my thoughts to this person, may this person be well and happy, for example, Or for yourself, you say, may I, something as simple as, may I have peace of mind, so that I'll be strong enough to aspire to be a stream winner in this life. Stream winner is the first stage sainthood. I don't know why people are so scared of becoming it. They think they're becoming monks. Not at all. Stream winner is not becoming monks. Stream winner means you take the first step on the Eightfold Path. So that you don't follow the wrong way and be born as an animal, preta, asura, and hell being. Okay? So stream winner, that means you are so strong, you will never break the precept, you are happy, you are at peace with yourself, and then slowly you build up your wisdom. You are not as strong as the non-returner or the arahat yet, but it's good enough. A lot of great disciples of the Buddha, lay people, they were stream winners, like King Bimbisara, Anathapindika, and so on. Okay? It just means that you aspire to get the precept well and have a lot of faith in the three jewels. Alright? In fact, December we're going to meet those wonderful people in KL, the stream winners to be. Alright?
This is part of the Chaga
Jaga Nusati, Chaga, there are many words for giving. Dana is simply giving, and then you got this Chaga is actually translated as charity. Jaga, because normally Dana mostly give up things. But when you say Chaga, it can include even like body parts. When you say if I pass away, I give my organs to others. Or you give knowledge, you give your time, you become volunteers. They're also regarded as charity. Giving. Alright, anything else to ask? Otherwise, we come to the happy hour. Oh, you have one question. Okay.
Some people think that if I'm not a Buddhist, then I can break all the precepts. And I'm not ready to be a Buddhist, so I can do anything I like. Is that correct way?
Yeah. That's a joke. Okay. That's why I'm laughing. I'm still thinking why people laugh sometimes. For example, you say that, it's very funny to me. Because when something is not right, it is funny, and then we laugh. That's one reason we laugh. But there are many other reasons that we laugh. And the Buddha is always smiling, So I was writing a reflection on that. I said, Buddha smile because the whole world is a joke, And suffering is a joke, You know why suffering is a joke? We're not meant to suffer. We don't like suffering, And then, when we have overcome suffering, we're very happy. Then we laugh, we smile, right? That's why the Buddha is smiling. All right. Okay, so it's wrong to say that, I'm not a Buddhist, so I can break all the precepts. Because there are two kinds of morality. Morality, two kinds. The first kind is called conventional morality. Conventional morality, for example, traffic laws. You drive here on the left. If you break the law, you get fined, but it's not bad karma. Usually, So conventional laws made by man. The Vinaya are mostly, not all, mostly conventional. Rules made by the monk, by the Buddha. The other rules, very important. The other morality is called natural morality. Natural morality means the Buddha didn't invent it. It's there all the time. And the 5 precepts are natural morality. For example, the Buddha didn't say, it's not because of the Buddha that life is precious, Life is naturally precious. The Buddha comes along and point out to us and say, that's what it is. Nobody will happily or sanely give their life. Right? Under normal circumstances, they won't. They all value their life. Even animals value their life. So we got to respect life, the first value of life. Right? So it's natural morality. And all the other 4 precepts same, all are called natural morality. Whether you're a Buddhist or not, you break the precept, the karma still act on you. I mean, you can't say, since I'm not a Buddhist, so karma doesn't act on me. Not true, it still act on you. It's different if I say, I don't believe in sin. Because sin is you must believe in God, you see. Sorry?
Muslim terrorists.
Same thing. They will, they create their own karma. See? Yeah, so sometimes religion can say, you go to heaven, all this thing. Of course, we don't believe in that. But under Buddhist teachings, the karma will come back. I mean, you live by violence, you see the effect of violence. This country where there's bombing almost every day, those children hardly reach 30 years old, they'll die, short lifespan, and they don't progress. Very little progress in our country. Bombing all the time, and you see the landers very unhappy, very stark, we say. Broken houses, and they don't have a chance to really grow as happy human beings. That's why peace is important. The wise, those who are rulers who are wise, they know. Nowadays, war is very stupid. Everyone loses. Only 1 or 2% in the world are really mad to think they want to start war. See? But everybody will lose when there's war. Okay? The real war now is economic war. Right? You make the most friends, you get the most customers, So, as Buddhists, we have the chance to understand why the precepts are important to us, how to practice properly, and then how to rise beyond the precepts. Remember, in Buddhist training, first training is moral conduct. Keep the precepts well, meaning body and speech, restrained and peaceful. Why? So that we don't have to worry and think about all the wrong things we have done. Because once you sit quietly and meditate, you start thinking about those things. So, if you keep your precepts well, then you're happy. Right now, you are keeping your precepts well. So this is the time to remember it. Then second training is mental training. Concentration, meditation, mind, very peaceful. When your mind is very peaceful, wisdom arises. That's the third training, wisdom. When you have wisdom, then comes the fourth. The fourth one is not training. The fourth one is called freedom, liberation, awakening. You let go of some of the negative states, or you might even become arahat. Right? And then the number 5 is the knowledge and vision. You know that you have attained these states. This is very interesting, because sometimes when we attain the good state, we don't realize it at that moment. Then once you come out of it, you look back and say, oh, okay, I have graduated. Something like that. It's just like you are doing an exam. When you put your last dot, okay, you finish, you submit the paper, you still don't know when you are passed your exam or not. And then the examiner will check, grade you, and then after that, finally put your name up. The question now is, at which point did you pass the exam? Very hard to say. But for you, once you look at the paper, you say, oh, I passed, then you pass, okay? So, same thing when the arahat get enlightened. The moment of enlightenment, they don't know it. The next one, they look back, when they come out of the meditation, they look back and say, oh, okay, now the way I am, I know I am free from suffering, the arahats. And that's when they go back to the Buddha and they tell the Buddha, then the Buddha will confirm. So here, in other words, is you look back at your action and you know your action is good and right. Okay? Alright, so I think we can stop now. Then next round we will do some meditation. Now we will do some dedication and reflection. Like today we have studied the we have studied the Ambalatika Rahulawada Sutta, the teaching which the Buddha gave to his seven-year-old son about telling the truth. We have spent this happy, quiet moment together in peace, keeping all the precepts. And this is very wonderful, good karma. We are educating ourselves. We are creating this solid, good ground of karma to stand on, so that we can go on building ourselves up with greater happiness, greater wisdom. Reflecting in this way is very good karma. But the power of such good karma, may we be blessed with the courage and wisdom to aspire to attain stream winning in this life itself. And also by this, the goodness, by the virtue of all this wonderful good karma we have created, let us send radiant loving kindness to ourselves, that we may be well and happy, so that we can continue to study the Dhamma, continue to build up our wisdom and share it with others. And by the same token, through all this goodness we have done by the power of the three jewels, we sent out our loving kindness to all our loved ones, to all the people in this house who have hosted us here, to all the beings here, that they may be well and happy too. And to all our relatives and loved ones, even our friends, may they be well and happy. And to those who are seeking the Dhamma, practicing the Dhamma, may they be blessed with good health and wisdom and attain their goal in this life itself. And so to those who are struggling, having difficulties, may they too see the Dhamma in this life itself. May all beings be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.